bummer sometimes after we give a speech and say, man, I could have done that better. Well, it was great hearing David's first official speech after his icebreaker. His objective was to get to the point. Objective was to organize your speech, which he very well did and got to the point, and that's why that resonated in my head. He made a very good point. And that was one of my favorite speeches myself, so I look forward to hearing your get to the point speech too. I love this opening of the story with Lucy and the football. I guess we owe apologies to the young ones in the group that may not understand that one, but that's something that just resonated with me, like that arg, moment, and poor Charlie Brown. And since he's still in syndication, you can probably catch those cartoons every now and then on the internet, at least if not the local paper. I like how in the beginning your outline was very clear, and in the beginning you offered your general options to get rid of sources of frustration. You listed personal examples of experiencing and then overcoming frustration, and then offering a solution, which is very helpful to realign your attitude or reassess your frustration. So obviously your speech was well organized. Good use of humor, for using the Acme Car Company to protect the names of the innocent. And, my favorite time I ever remember hearing someone do that. I'm not going to name the airline, but it's an American airline. I won't name which one it is, but things like that were very, very good. So that made me think of that. The transitions were very well done. When you went from point to point in your outline, it really almost like built on it, and then you carried it in. So it was I liked how that happened. It's not like, here's my first point, and here's my second point. It's like each point very, walked into the next point very well. So I liked the way that worked. Didn't feel like downshifting. My brother was terrible with a stick, and you're always hearing a speech that says, you're kind of shifting like that. This was very good that it guided us, and it felt like we were gliding and just, increasing the RPMs, increasing the horsepower. You feel that strength bringing us forward in your speech. So I liked that each point in your outline brought us further in your speech, and we saw that happening. The overarching and repetitive and building upon itself arg, like arg, that was just really good, and you used that very well. I thought that was very effective. A very propitious use of the word of the day. So you included that in your speech on the fly, so that was very good. The only points of polish I could think is that, and again, for a first official speech, I thought it was wonderful. It was hard to find an area of polish for myself. But I would suggest, given this particular speech, that the arg, that to modify each one. So the first one would be like arg, and the next one would be like arg, something like that. Just change that up, because that was very effective. And I like that. Sometimes a token in a speech can be overused, or like, all right, it worked once, but this was very effective. And if you can enhance that, if you ever, whatever future speeches have a token, and you can modify that so that it doesn't become monotonous. Although monotonous sometimes drives the point home. So that's just something to think about. And finishing strong with ownership. We had a sermon this week by an intern who kind of just said, at the end of his sermon, it was just like, okay, I'm in, and it was like, oh, we're done with the sermon. And a lot of times we finish our speech and we kind of just wait, and it's like, oh, Mr. Toastmaster. So just kind of finishing your speech and having ownership, Mr. Toastmaster. And we all, can use that advice as well, myself included. So outside of that wonderful speech, thank you very much.
We get 2 minutes on the clock. 3 great evaluations. If you have points of polish, praise, suggestions for any of the evaluators, if you could make some notes and pass those along. 2 minutes, please.